Hello, hello, hello. Today I want to talk about this phone in my hand. This is the Nokia 6.1 Plus or the Nokia X6. This particular spec is 64 GB and 4 GB of RAM. It's 5.7 Full HD Plus screen. It's got a Snapdragon Qualcomm, I think it's called a 636 octa-core, and it has 16, because I'm just checking on GSM, 16 megapixel and 16 megapixel rear camera and 5 megapixel front camera. It has a 3060 mAh battery, and what I like, USB-C and headphone jack. So and also this is, if you can see it in the box here, it have Android 1, and this is updated to the latest version, which is Android 9. This can be bought on, I think in Jareer it's about 499, around about that price, and this, for that price, to me, I think is a really good deal. I think it's an excellent phone for the price. There's some caveats, but generally I think it's a really excellent phone. Looks nice. It's a bit slippery though with this the Gorilla Glass on both sides. No wireless charging. Fingerprint scanner obviously. It has a dual SIM or SIM and SD card. And let me just check just to make sure that I'm not lying to you. I will check the Android version. Let me see, about phone. Okay, what does it say? Android 9. Okay, so, and with this Android 1, Nokia or HMD Global are getting pretty fast updates. So kudos to Nokia. I think they've got a really good budget phone on their hands. I really like the screen. The screen is incredibly bright. I only have it like about half, and even that sometimes is too bright. Call quality is really good. Actually everything is really good about it for the price. I would say the only kind of downside is the camera. Now, originally I was just using the camera as on the default settings, and the pictures were pretty gruesome. Then I went into the pro settings and I adjusted some shutter speed and ISO depending on, it's really indoor, it's the problem. Outdoor the camera's pretty decent, but indoor is the problem, where the photos are just pretty dark and not particularly exciting looking. So you can adjust the ISO and you can adjust the shutter speed and you can get a better photo. And I'm not an expert by any meaning of that word when it comes to setting manually these settings, but and I'm sure people who know a bit more about it than I do would be able to get a better photograph out of this. Now I'm using this launcher. I'm using is the Poco F1 launcher. So this is a launcher that's installed on the Poco phone, and I really like it. I think it's pretty simple, very easy to use, and on this phone in particular it's working really well. So I did do, for you out there in the world, I did do Antutu, and I was real surprised. There you go, 114,000, nearly 115,000 score. I was surprised, and pleasantly surprised that it got that score, because just with that chipset I just thought it might be a bit slower. Again, when you think about the price, the performance is, to me, I haven't noticed any real big issues at all with it. It's nothing. I think it works really well. Fingerprint scanner works really well, and I like so let's see, when you're going into the apps, you can swipe up and go through, swipe them away, similar to what we're used to now with iPhone and iOS. Let me get all of these out of the way. So I like this launcher, and I like the gestures that you can use with this phone in particular. And I would say that if you're looking at the kind of competition, I reviewed the Huawei. It's nicer than the Huawei. The Samsung, I like that Samsung M20, but I think I like this one better. I don't know, there's something that the screen is just, for me, is really crisp. And I don't know, I just feel that this one fits better in my hand, albeit a wee bit slippery. This is why I bought the case. And I don't really like cases, but actually I put this down on what I thought was a flat surface, and it it slipped off pretty easy. So rather than getting it damaged, I went and just bought a cheap case for it. And as I say, for the last few weeks, it has been my main phone. My iPhone 10 has been getting used as my alarm clock. So, and I've really enjoyed using it. I'm coming to the last few days of using it, as it's going to be getting sold, so that I can try and buy something else to review for you. And again, at that price point, okay, there's quite a lot of phones that are out there, but the Nokia, I think the Nokia brand has re-established itself. It's got some higher end phones, but this is definitely kind of budget or mid. It's not totally budget. It's in that mid kind of section now, where really there's so many phones out there, and it's great because they're not that expensive now, and for most people's uses, it's more than enough. You casual gaming on this, easy. All your social media, WhatsApp, everything. It's all works pretty smoothly, and of course, with the quickness of the Android updates, I'm sure it's quicker than Samsung and Huawei, and we don't know what's going to happen with Huawei phones now with regards to them being kind of boycotted or blacklisted. Hopefully that'll get sorted out, but it is in a field where there is a lot of competition, but I really think that this one, for that price, 500, and you might even get it cheaper, 64 GB and 4 GB of RAM, you cannot go wrong. It's just a really, really nice phone, and I just I wanted to share it with you all before it was going hopefully to fund my next phone. Now let me share a couple of apps with you that I have been using because I've enjoyed using them, and I want to share. The first one is and it's a pretty common app. It's a photo editing app, Snapseed. I think it's owned by Google. Free, no notice any adverts on it, so it gives you a lot of options, easy to use, and you can really kind of like bring the photo, especially with this camera, that you might just need a wee bit of an edge just to filter wise, or lighten or darken it, whatever it is you might need. The Snapseed is really good, and I had it before and then I stopped using it for whatever reasons. I don't even remember, but I've really enjoyed using it, and I'm going to continue to use it on my Android phones probably for the foreseeable future. The other one that I've liked is the FX file manager. Now I used to use ES File Explorer, I think it's called, and I still use it on other devices, but I found this one to be very clean and very easy to use, and for me better than the Google Files manager. Google Files is okay as well, but I just found that FX just a wee bit better. It suited what I needed it for, so I just wanted to share that again with you all as well. Just ignore any of the other apps that you see there that might not be generally legal in certain countries, he says. What else can I tell you about it? Well, look, not much else I can tell you about a 500 real phone. So if that's what, about £150, $140, $50, something like that. If that's your budget and you're kind of like looking around, this to me is probably your best bet. I just think it is very swift, and I don't think anybody would be disappointed with it. Now, just by the by, because I listen to a lot of music, I plugged in my Marshall earphones, and I thought it was really pretty good. But what I was even more surprised with was when I'm using my AirPods, my Apple AirPods, I think it's excellent. And I've used other phones, I've used my AirPods with other Android phones, and I've noticed sometimes that it's been cut out a few here and there, and with this I never experienced any issues whatsoever. It just played really nice, so I was genuinely surprised by that. More than occasionally I've been using VLC. I've been like downloading certain things on here and using VLC and then casting it to, I have NVIDIA Shield TV box, and I've been casting it, and really it's again it was very simple, easy, and everything just worked out of the box with 1 or 2 clicks of your finger. And most TVs have some kind of casting app. The most smart TVs have a kind of casting app, or you'll have a dongle, whatever. And really it was pretty handy just having this as a wee kind of media center in your hand that occasionally one used for making phone calls. So yeah, that's about it. There's not a lot more I can say about it. It's well built, feels premium in the hand, feels more expensive actually than it is, because that screen being so bright, almost bezel-less. And if you think about the price, I mean, I paid for my iPhone 10, I paid what, 4,000, something like that, and this is 500. So I mean, there's quite a bit of a difference, and really most people's usage between this and as I say, my iPhone has been my alarm clock of late. So there you go. How many other phones I could have bought with 4,000, I'm telling you. So anyway, that's it. And just before I forget, I like this kind of always on. It's really nice. It's one of my kind of like favourite things, and I like this in any kind of phone now these days. I know that Motorola are doing it as well, so I like it. So that's it. That's the Nokia 6.1 Plus, a bargain budget phone, and consider it as for your second phone, or for your kids, or whatever, or a gift. You're not going to be disappointed. Questions, I will do my best to answer them as usual. You might notice that it's a bit quieter here because the AC fan is off. That's why you probably can hear my voice better, but I doubt that it will remain off for long, and the noise will come back again. So enjoy my voice. Bye.